Let's talk about the recent issue, talking about the UAE visa hike that generating a whole lot of reaction. I'm joining you to discuss this morning is a foreign affairs analyst talking about Ebenezer Oyega attacking. A wonderful morning to you, Mr. Ebenezer.
Good morning. Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Okay.
Good morning, can you hear me?
Okay. I'm sure once in the moment you heard about the visa restriction being lifted by the UAE, what do you make of it?
Well, it underscores the importance of you building your own country to the extent that you do not feel intimidated by the actions or inactions of any other country. The UAE, as a country, has formed themselves into a kind of power block and influence player in the international community of nations. And each time we throw up the issues of visas against Nigeria, it underscores the fact that when you visit your friends too much, it will appear as if your own house is not conducive enough for you, and you begin to lose your respect. But if you build your own self, build your own house, make it comfortable for your own people, and the exchange of visitations is mutual, respectful. Taking that analogy into consideration, we will not be having all of these oscillations from visa restrictions to visa restrictions between UAE and Nigeria, and it will not be anything of concern. But you definitely understand that many Nigerians today, including those who have led us at the point of political leadership, most of them have realized their citizenship of Nigeria, between Nigeria and the UAE. Some people, some of our big men, they prefer UAE as a habitation to their own home country. They stay more there, and they have come to consider that as a form of status. That is not the way to go as a nation, and that is exactly what is giving me concern on all of this.
Okay. In the light of recent reports about people who want to travel to UAE having to go through a particular account to register to make to have $10,000 in their domiciliary account, and also to pay $640,000. Though that has been debunked by the UAE Foreign Affairs right here in Nigeria. But what do you think is really happening? What is shady about this in the first instance for them to be requiring this amount of money for us to be able to procure visa for UAE?
That's capitalism for you. It is hinged upon the law of demand and supply. When there is desperation to visit, when there is rush to visit, as if it is a privilege of a sort, you cannot rule out such smart playing demands, restrictions, and all of that we are witnessing. The heart of the matter is that our political leadership should learn. It has not always been so with UAE. I think it is a question of about a decade and a half ago and the rest of it that UAE is on the run to be all of this that it has become. So it is all beckoning on us as a nation that our political leaders should not be a politician. They should be, statesmen, nation builder, people who can make their nation a place of pride in the community of nations. If we do that, we will not have any concern. As a matter of fact, it will always be a form of tit for tat, even against the United States. When they move against us, we will move against them. But when the rush is so on the platform of a form of conspiracy, as if that place is a paradise, while your own place is a form of a what do you call it, uninhabitable, difficult terrain and things of that nature, then you can't rule out what you are talking about. It all underscores the fact that we must do the right thing as a nation. We must occupy our pride of place as a nation.
In the light of UAE Foreign Affairs coming out to debunk reports of demanding this amount of money, the federal government has kept mum in the light of this. Do you think their silence is wrong at this point in time?
Well, it might be that some people want to hedge with the degrees of rush that UAE is witnessing from Nigeria. Like I told you earlier, Nigerians, including our political leaders, senators, House of Reps, at every level of political leadership and social status, have come to consider visitations to UAE as a thing of status. So, any other person or interest group can exploit without even UAE government being in the know. And even UAE government may not be in the know. Their own citizens may decide to exploit the rush of Nigerians and things of that nature. So, and you know, governments don't deal or respond to issues based on gossip. Maybe the government of Nigeria has discovered that such behavior is not from the government or statutory positions of the government of UAE. So, if that is the case, they may just have to employ a silent diplomatic exploits to resolve the matter between them and UAE without coming out the way you expect them to come out.
Okay, UAE just one of the countries that have experienced free relationship with Nigeria. When you put into consideration the policy of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu when it comes to dealing with foreign countries, do you think the policies being put in place can be smoothing the relationship between Nigeria and so many countries across the world? What do you make about the policy of government when it comes to dealing with foreign entities?
Well, there will always be a room for improvement of our relationship, not only with UAE, but with every country that matters in the world, because Nigeria is a very important country, even though we have not been able to get our act together as we ought to as a nation. We only hope that we will not keep on proclaiming ourselves as a potentially great country. We should bring those dreams to deeds, to reality of our greatness. Some of the things that have been militating against our comfort staying in our own home are some of the things we are experiencing now in a greater proportion. When you have crude oil and you're supposed to have 10 refineries and you have 4 that are dysfunctional, and even when a private actor built one for you that is considered as one of the world's largest, your officials are circumventing. So when you put all of this dysfunctionality into place, then so many questions than answers. And we are the ones to provide these answers. We should begin to treat ourselves with the dignity that we deserve as a people of a great nation or of a potentially great nation. Africa and many parts of the world, they are hoping and waiting for a Nigeria that can stand our own place in the community of nations. Nigeria that will occupy her place of pride and becomes a bulwark of liberty to the entire African country. If we occupy that position, the nations of the world will be begging to come to us. they will be rushing to come to us. We will not be the one that will be rushing at every nation to the extent that our rushes now become a thing of that can be exploited to denigrate our citizens and things of that nature. Those are the things I think we should focus upon.
Before I let you go, Mr. Itakin, I must also put into consideration what is happening in the West African region, especially with the coup d'etat in some countries in West Africa, and some have tried to pull out of ECOWAS. And so many discussions have been ongoing concerning that. And we talked about the war in this country and the challenges facing the country right there. Going forward, how do we smooth in, because they say charity begins at home, for us to be able to do this, recognized among the Committee of Nations, we must also start from the West Africa region. Looking at our policies, looking at our relationship, what do you think is the way to go for Nigeria, especially starting from the West Africa region before we move to other parts of Africa and the rest of the world?
No. What we should take into consideration is the security challenges that have changed to West Africa that has been imposed upon us. Many governments in West Africa has not been courageous enough, and Nigerian government itself has not been courageous enough to define who are the people that impose these security challenges on us. Who are the people that are flooding Africa with arms and ammunition to the extent that sovereignties of nations are being threatened? Those countries where military took over, their sovereignty were being threatened by security challenges. Nigeria's sovereignty also is being threatened by security challenges. In another part of the world, people will immediately name those foreign powers that are working substantially to destabilize Nigeria, to destabilize West Africa, and that are flooding and proliferating arms against our national sovereignties. So you can't name them those that went in order to save their sovereignty. I watched about 2 weeks ago when even the diplomatic office of the United States is submitting credentials to the president of Burkina Faso. If it were before, they would say it is a military rulership, we are not going to relate or deal with them, but they submitted anyway, and it amazed me. And the boy is working wonders. So what we should do, the way forward, is that we should practice democracy that serves the people. Not a democracy whereby political class, political office holders are exhibiting profligacy, outrageous expensiveness on televisions, while their people are wallowing in poverty, while schools that are supposed to be a sacred place of refuge for our youth and students are being invaded by terrorists, and our students,
Yeah. I must say a big thank you to you, Ebenezer Itakin, for joining us right there. Time now, our friend, the time will take more than that right now as we link up over to our new segment of this morning on ITV.